All right, so we're going to start on the top now. I've kind of stretched it out, centered it up. I put some chalk marks here where the rear bow is supposed to go. Once it's all pulled down into place. I did hook up the cables. I had to, my brainstorm of putting the front in first did not work out. I had to take it back off because it will only fish through the sleeve from the small end. So anyway, cables are all hooked up. All I had to do was lift the top a little bit to do that. I've stretched it out, kind of pulled it across the front. Now I'm just getting everything lined up right. Once everything's lined up and I'm pretty happy with it, I think I need to, first step is to, once I get it where I want it, is to throw a set of staples across the back on that rear bow. That'll kind of define where everything goes from there. Just gotta continuously make sure I'm centered up and everything is happy first. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna start with. Get it all centered up one more time. I might take the steamer and just see if I can't help myself a little bit here and work some of these wrinkles out with the steamer first. There's these weird dimples here, and whatever it was folded on has the same issue on the other side. Wondering if I can just kind of steam that a little bit, let it drape, and maybe that'll relax that a bit before I get too far along. I am latched down right now. Probably the right place to start with that. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I may end up pulling, there is one spacer underneath this rib. I may pull that spacer out just to see if I can't get this to come down just a hair. I am right at that point, and I don't believe that's where it's supposed to be. So I will do that as well, I think, before I pull anything too tight. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Okay, so I have got that up there, centered up pretty good. Still got to draw it back a little bit. I screwed it off to the listing strip. There's just 4 little screws in here. You can see that strip down the center here. And so I screwed that off because that's kind of a hard point here. Now I'm going to, I might release those later if I have to help work wrinkles out. But I think for right now, I'd like to keep those in place so that when I'm pulling back against this rear bow, I'm working in the right area. I was also thinking I might just set the heaters back in the car and close the doors up again. And then that way it can just heat this vinyl internally rather than run the steamer over it, and see what that does for me. I don't believe it'll affect the rear window or anything. So as long as I'm going to move them forward, I'm not going to keep them back in the rear by the glass this time. The plastic. So that's kind of where I'm headed with it. I'm thinking that's the best approach. Warm that vinyl up a little bit. It's going to help me stretch it and work the wrinkles out. Then get the rear bow stapled off. Now, because of the this wire strip here, they call it a wire strip. This goes over that once you have it stapled in, but it's considerably narrower than a width of a staple. So all these staples have to go in straight this way. You can't have any going sideways or they'll peek out from under that strip. So, and yeah, that's where I'm at. So I'm gonna probably do that. I'll put the heaters back in for a little bit, let this warm up, work itself out a little, and at least get that tacked off for today. Pull it forward, try to work out wrinkles, and basically, probably, I'm not gonna finish this today. I will finish it next weekend. It's Sunday right now. I just posted the rear window and pads video. I'm quite happy of how that turned out, other than that one little sag over there in the middle, which is pretty easily fixed. Know exactly what I got to do there. I've marked it out on my piece of tape. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the heater in there, just kind of see if I can't make that a little more pliable and work from that. All right, so now I have asked my wife to come up and help me stretch this out, so I had it nice and tight across the back. I had a couple staples that went a little wonky on me there. I've got to pull those out and replace them. But yeah, that stretched nice across the back. It's nice and tight here. I've got to kind of work the top now moving forward, I think. But yeah, it's coming out pretty good. I'm going to wait till my next session here to pull this rear window out and attach these aprons. So I'll probably go as far as that and stop for today. Just getting tired and don't want to make a mistake. So anyway, it's coming along, looking pretty good. So that's the next step, is get it stapled. The other point is this little slit that's cut right here. You want that to be right on your staple line so that when you cover it with this strip, it covers everything. That's the plan. Okay, moving on. All right, next step was to mark the top where it lines up on the window. Of course, the tape sticks great to the window. It doesn't stick at all to the top. So I just put some chalk marks where my verticals are and my horizontals. And that should all work out fine. That is the next step. So, all right, I'm gonna move on, keep moving. So a little verification you can do. I just checked it at the bottom about this height on both sides. I'm 1 7/8 inches from the edge of the plastic, clear plastic in. So yeah, I think that's lined up very well. So that the rest of that should play out good when I tie it all together. Okay, so now's the point where you go, or I go, trim the front of the pads off here, and then just staple them off. And fold everything back down. So now, top's kind of sitting on there relaxed. Everything's looking good. Let's see, what's the next step? This is why you keep a list. Trim off front of the pads. All right, now I want to just stretch the front again, clamp the sides, keep everything tight. Here, I'll throw it up on the, show you what I'm into here. This is easy, just trying to keep the nope, didn't get it. So just kind of stretching it out, pulling it forward, making sure we still have the center line in the front correct. Not bad. Whoops, missed it. There we go. It's not bad. Not bad at all. Nice and tight. Okay. Let me move the camera here. Okay. So, the next step is we want to just stretch this out, kind of pull it up to the front of the front bow. And we're going to just put a line right on the edge of the front bow. Oh, that didn't work out so good. And again, what I'm trying to do here is trace out where the front bow ends right now. Okay, go around to the other side and do the same thing. Okay. Now it's a little low. All right, so now the idea being, I'm gonna take and trace another line like a 1/2 inch back further from that. 1/2 to 3/4, I gotta look it up again. But you trace that next line, 3/4 of an inch or 5/8 or whatever you choose, back. Then you release the pressure on the top, you fold it up a little bit, and then stretch that down until that thing is hung right there. So on the new line. So that's what we'll do next. Okay, so there you go. I just take my calipers set to 3/4 of an inch and drag the chalk right behind them.
Are you sure? I have to trust my gut.
Prepare for ducks.
All I ever wanted was for Amy to be happy.
Biggest bombshell.
Hiding kill.
And that should give me a nice even stretch when we go to stretch the top out. And again, I'll run the heaters in the car before I do that.
Indiana with a big fourth quarter. Now the Terps have won 4 of 5 heading today's matchup with number 12 Ohio State. That is coming up next. But first, senior day ceremony.
Trying to hit the line in the middle, apparently.
Teammates, we are just moments away from that as they celebrate one of the UConn greats. FS1 College Hoops Extra is sponsored by Firebird. Whatever you do,
A little too
Firebird.
much there.
Joining us inside our LA studios, I'm Allison Lake along with Tim Adams. Tim, there is dominance and dynasties, and then there's UConn women's basketball. They have another undefeated season in Big East play, 36-0 now in the last 2 years in Big East play. They get it done today in a big way against Marquette. They for their senior, we'll see honored in just a little bit. Paige Becker with a great first half today.
Yeah, Paige Becker and company, but I think this UConn team is just playing at elite level.
All right.
Both sides of the ball right now. I think there were
So I should be able to release the top, stretch that over, and clamp it off.
they figured a lot of things out in terms of.
All right, so next, back at the old convertible talk, next steps. I took a little bit of black RTV, smeared it in here into the end of this pad where it's all foam, just to try to keep the water out of there a little bit or any moisture from getting into that foam, because I'm noticing a lot of these are rotting out right in here. So that can only help. Anyway, so I did that. I'm also fired up a steamer over here. I'm gonna try to steam out these wrinkles in this little bit just to see if I can't smooth this out a little and get it a little more under control. There's some weird dimples in here where it was folded around something when it was in the box. So I want to try to clean that up a little and just get some of these harsh wrinkles out before I start to pull this, just to make my life a little easier, I think. So I'm going to do that next. I got some more over here. You can see those same 3 spots are right in here. I don't know what that was, but either way, we're going to start with that today. So hopefully all of that will start to work out. And you can see I put a little RTV on this one too. Again, I'm just trying to get that foam under control up there. So we'll let that dry for a bit and see what we get. All right, so that steamer worked pretty good. Those weird dimples kind of came out of it. I still feel them a little bit, but they're not nearly what they were. So I think they're going to stretch okay now. So what I did was I pulled the top up to that new line that I drew here, just clamped it off, closed it up, put the heaters on in there. I'm just letting it, I didn't clamp it all the way down. I just kind of hung the hook there so it'll stay. And I'm just going to let that heat up for a little bit and kind of do its thing. see what it does. But it feels like it's gonna work. That's a good, that 3/4 inch seems to be about the right amount of stretch. I think everything's gonna work fine from there. So I will start to, probably in the morning, I'm gonna let this just kind of relax overnight. In the morning, I'll come back and glue the front edge to start. Then I'll come back here and start working the rear aprons. I believe I know where everything's gotta go. Just gotta get it all in there and sort it out. So, yeah, really looking forward to taking that trim stick out again. That's a good time. So, yeah, probably have that out another 3 times this weekend at least, maybe 4. But the good news is this is almost done and it's looking pretty damn good. So I'm pretty happy with it. Everything I think is gonna come out pretty good. I don't see anything in here that's gonna become a long-term problem. So we'll let it go and see what happens. Okay, so we're on to the next step. So I've got the top stretched. I've got it where I kind of like it. I'm gonna go ahead now. I got the heaters back on in the car. I'm bringing that up to temp. I let this sit overnight. I didn't leave the heaters on. I'm kind of trying to heat and relax it, see where it goes from there. So now I'm gonna just take and do another chalk line across the top here so I know exactly where I like it. It's in its stretched form. So I'll get another chalk line across the front, then I will pull that up and start putting the adhesive on and get the top, the front edge stuck on so I can start working my way around it. Okay, so as you can see, I've rolled the top up a little bit. I've released my small clamps in the front. And what I'm gonna do now is use some of the 3M90. And I'm gonna basically just pull this over to my line. And the nice thing about this product is it gives you some working time. You can pull it apart and put it back together for quite a bit of time. You'll wanna protect the back side just to keep anything from spraying over the back. But anyway, so let me just get this stuck on here and I'll show you what I'm gonna do. I'm putting this right over the tack strip and out under where the weather stripping goes. I'm only gonna start with the middle. And I really don't need to mask that because I'm not gonna go that far. A nice even coat on there. I'll hit the sides a little more once I get closer. Okay, now, like before, now we just have to let that tack up a little bit. So we'll give that a few minutes and we'll come back and stick it on. Again, I'm sticking that right over the tack strip. And basically I'm going to use this glue until I'm done and then I'll tack it, then I'll staple it on once this is complete. That's the plan. All right, let's check the glue. Yeah, it's tacky, but it's not coming off on my finger. So now I'm going to take it. Oh, why is that stuck up there? It shouldn't be stuck there. And I'm going to pull it down to my new line that I just made and center up my middle and start to apply it. Okay, keep working my way around, stretching it as I go. That's not real happy right there. And like I said, the nice thing about this glue is, for a period of time, you can pull it up, put it back down. Feels like I got a bubble right here. Yeah, there we go. There, and as you start to, so I'm going to get out to this first seam and stop. Keep applying it. And it's going to start to wrinkle a little bit when you get past that seam because of the curve, which is not unexpected. Come on. There we go. Yeah, again, I'm going to my new chalk line, paying attention to the center line. I'm still pretty close. And just keep working it. Okay, so there, I'm out to that seam on both sides now. Stuck it on there as good as I need to. Still gives it the ability to stretch, but holds it so it won't come off. That's the beauty of this stuff. Yeah, I'm not quite centered. Which is me a little alarmed here. I'm about 1/8 of an inch off. Probably should pull it. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm going to go beyond the seam now. Just start working this down. I'm going to leave a few strategic puckers in it. I'm going to remove my final clamp. Flip this back down. All right, there. Now, I think I need a little more adhesive on this bit. Really pull it out too. Okay, so I think the first thing I'm going to do is lay some adhesive in here just so I can fold this down and in. I hope you can see that. And then once that's folded in, I will come down around the side later. So, all right, yeah, that looks pretty good. Everything is adhered well. Let me just hit that with a little more adhesive. Okay, that side's good. Let me start working around the corner here. Strategic pucker. Get my clamp off. I know this is going to be hard to see on this side, and I apologize, but... And I'll come back and relieve those puckers when I'm done. And everything's stapled in and we're 100% confident in our location. All right, we'll let that set up for a few minutes and just fold those edges over to a good starting point. Okay, that should be enough time for that glue to set up. Let's test it. Yep, looking good. All right, so again, we want to stretch out and then apply this. Huh, that's not real good. I think I want to slit that a little bit. Yeah, I'm having to trim this up a little because there's just excess material there on that little flap. There we go, much better. Okay. All right, looks good that side. Now I got to put a little glue on top of that for the next layer to go over. Okay, there's that. Keep that here handy. So I got to do it on the other side. Trim that first this time. All right, so again, I'm going to pull it straight out, try to strengthen that as much as I can, get as much stretch on it as I can. And then lay that down. All right, we'll let that glue set up. Let me bring you in here so you can see what I'm dealing with. All right, so you can see where I took this flap, folded it up under, and I put way too much glue in here. Got a little happy with the glue. So basically, again, you just pull this out, adhere that, and then I want to just slowly work this down into that area, like so. There. Now, to keep that all together well, I'm just going to throw this clamp back on here for now, because it's kind of important that that stay tight. And I'm just working this up so that these puckers are kind of nice and even. And yes, I'm going to have to clean that with some sort of adhesive remover, because I screwed up, put too much in there, in a place where it wasn't supposed to be. Okay, there. Now, I'm pretty good on my line. Right here is a little low, but that's a little high. We'll see how that stretches out. But yeah, that's the idea. You want to get that right on that line and just keep working it. And rinse and repeat over here. And once that's trimmed, that'll be a little better. Okay, Okay, I pulled that back down. Now I've just got to get it semi-latched. I don't have to pull it right down right now, but it does seem like it's off a little. I'm just going to hook the hooks up just enough to hold it for now. That looks really good. All right, so I've just clamped it a little bit. This can be pulled over. That looks good. Not gonna pull it right down yet. Just checking to make sure I'm not stressing anything too much. I got a little bit sag right here that'll pull out as soon as I tighten this up. Yeah, not bad. I'm gonna put the heaters back in and let it relax for a little bit. And on this side, I'm kind of focusing the heaters forward, obviously, because that's where I'm working. There we go. Not slamming the doors shut because I got cords going in there, but we're just gonna let that bake for a few minutes. Check the list, but I believe the next fun-filled adventure will be pull that damn strip out again out of the rear. Woo! Love it. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so the next step, I'm gonna take and lift the top back up again, and working from the center out, I'm gonna put a few staples in, not a lot, just in case I gotta reset something. It looks really good right now. I don't expect I'm going to have to reset anything, but I'm gonna put a few staples just from the center out to the seams, and just so that it's held tight when I start moving to the rear of the car again. So let me, I'll show you what I'm into here. Gotta release the top first, take the heaters back out. Maybe a little more. Okay, now. All right, stapler. All right, now, let's see. All right. I'm just going to slowly work my way out. Again, I'm just trying to make sure my glue doesn't slip if we start getting more pressure. And I'm going to put the last one right beside this seam. Okay, come back this way now. And you can see the little clips that fold over the tack strip pretty well. So it's not hard finding the tack strip. Not as hard as I thought it might be. Just gonna stuck some foam under there to keep that side slack. This front slack while I go through the awesome experience of pulling that rear window out again. All right, so I've elevated the front probably 4 or 5 inches just to give me enough slack back here to work. I'm back to the exciting prospect of pulling out that trim stick again, which I hate. So I've made some chalk lines on my material and some black lines on my tape to show me where everything has to be lined up when I staple it off. That should get me at least out through to like here in somewhat reasonable shape. I'm sure I'm gonna have to redo from there out again, but for right now, I'm just gonna concentrate on that. I still got that one slight pucker in the bottom of the plastic that I'm gonna pull at the same time. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'll bring you back when I get that thing out. It's a great time. Great, love it. Okay, so I pulled it out. Good times. Getting a little faster. Took me 17 minutes that time. Okay, so first thing I gotta do, I pulled the staples out of here, except for the one I forgot. Not gonna pull very good with that still in there. Yeah, just take an awl or a sharp screwdriver and eventually drive it through your hand. Just get under the staple, roll it out a little bit. There we go. And grab it with your standard slip jaw pliers. Pull it out of there. Gone. Okay. So now I verified this time. So my marks are from here to here. I've put a little black line down through here, right on the edge with Sharpie. Now, this is quite a bit less pliable. So I am going to just heat this up a little bit so I can, when I pull it down, it's gonna want to come. I've kept my tape on there so I know where the center of my pull needs to be. And that's really what I'm working to do, is pull that down 1/8 of an inch and then pull that back and staple it off. We all know that 1/4 inch staples are what you have to use here just because the strip is pretty thin. 2 layers over here, I think I could probably get away with 3/8. I'll try that. But just working the area where I'm getting ready to pull. A little beyond. Oh yeah, much better. It's gonna pull beautifully now. Okay, so now I just get it right where I want it. Pull it down what I need. Get my other hand in here where it needs to be. Staple that off. Doesn't need much. Right there. Try not to drive the staple through your finger. That would mess up your morning. Okay, so I've pulled it down. Yeah, it's about 1/8. I don't know, I kind of feel like I need a little more. Let me pull those again. Oh, right here. Yeah, I want just a hair more on that, I think. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Come on, baby. All right, now I'm just gonna kind of work it back out to the sides evenly. Same thing over here, except I'm just gonna try to keep it tight on the bow as I go. Okay. Got to trim out my bolt hole. Other than that, I think we're good to go. Yeah, I might have went a little more than 1/8, but we'll see how it fits. Not going to go too crazy on the trimming. And I've been finding it's a little easier to trim with these little wire dikes. Okay, that looks good. Now we'll start with the skirts. All right, let's start on these curtains. I think I'm going to switch to 3/8 staples from the 1/4. See if I can't make these work. I've got a couple layers of material here now. Should work. Of course, the 1/4 inch ones are all busted up into small pieces, which is super annoying. I don't know if that's just a function of having them shipped in by UPS, or if it's a function of this Model stuff just doesn't stick together as good as the standard staples. Okay, now the trick here is you want to kind of pull this out a little bit. Try to, get it as tight as you can. Now, and you want to lay flat to the plastic. Line up your chalk marks a little bit, and your line, yeah, a little bit off there. You don't want this providing so much pressure that it bows the window, and you don't want the window, you don't want it to be loose on that. So that's why these marks are important. So I'm going to fold that over right there and drop 1 staple just to start the process. Keep in mind, you're going to have this on and off a dozen times, so don't get too crazy about trying to make it perfect the first time, because you won't. Now I am about 3/8 of an inch above my white line here is about 3/8 of an inch above where the cheat line says it should be. Wait a minute. Bolt holes there. Okay. So I'm just gonna come around the corner a bit here. Now I'm just trying to match up that line as I go around. Like I said, the most important thing right now is you don't want this process to deform the layer below. So, here we go. Again, I don't want it too tight, don't want it too loose, but you need a starting point so that you can, all right, and you want to avoid the holes. You need a starting point so that the next time you take it out, you know the adjustments you got to make. All right, I'm going to go a little lighter with the staples down through here now. I'm going to add some stretch to this, I'm sure. Oh, what the hell. Oh no, there's a hole right there. Okay. Now, just gonna keep working it. Matching it up to here. Get another hole there. Again, those white lines, they're great for reference, but they're not an alignment line, it's a starting point. So don't get too wrapped around the axle on those. Okay, I believe that's it for this side. I am going to put one, pull this tight again. I'm going to put one right over that piece of seam work there, the edge. Just to, or three. First one didn't hold that good. All right, so I'm going to repeat the process on the other side. Then we'll stick it back in and see how bad it is. So I was thinking the other day, what would be a better way to cut these holes for in the vinyl? So I just got a cheap leather punch, and I'm just going to heat it up. What I like about this is it seals the edges, and you don't have ragged edges in the vinyl. So we're just going to take it over here. Put your finger behind there so you know where the hole is, and just roll it in. Comes right out, works slick. Stinks a little. There we go. Call that a success.
So that's great news.
Pulls the little blank right out. Yeah, I didn't quite get that enough. Yep, there we go. All right, I like it. Call that a win. Now I just need to put it someplace where it's not going to burn my garage down. All right, I think we're ready. Time to slip it back in and see how bad off we are again. So next step, put it back in. See you in about 45 minutes. Okay, well, there it is. Let's see if I can get it all in frame. Doesn't look great. Let me put it down and just let it down, see what it does. All right, gotta utilize the pumpulator. Okay, now it looks like ass. Wow, very tight somewhere. I don't know where. Huh, weird. Okay, look at the other side. Yeah, this side is better. Not quite right, but better. All right, I'm gonna throw the heaters in real quick. Actually, I gotta roll this rear window up. This window seems a little too tight to me too. All right, heater in. Let's let this baby relax a hair. Hey, I think I can see what I need to do. All right, now the other side. There we go. Whoops, nope. False alarm. There it is, okay. Now we pull that a little tighter, turn the key off, put the other heater in. I gotta look at adjusting this window better. Something weird about how these are going up and down, and those original mechanisms. Okay, well, let's see what happens. It's kind of interesting. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Okay, so on this side, both sides seems to have bunched up right here a little bit. Oh, my sag in the window is perfect though. So hey, we'll take that. This is fixed. Very good, okay. Well, at least we accomplished something on that path. So this looks like don't know. This side doesn't look that bad except for the very back. And it looks like it pulled off my line. So I've got to pull this way. Other than that, I got to pull that around, and this needs something. I think the front just needs to be stretched forward a little bit, and I'm not sure if I can do that. There's like a little bit of a bunch right here. Not sure if I can pull that enough with this or not. Well, maybe. Once that back gets pulled up, that might come out a little better. It's interesting, I didn't expect that to be loose. I kind of expected that to be tight, if anything. It's tight through here. It's definitely tight up here. Okay, so back to this. New phone, trying to get used to the camera. So this is going to go that way and down for sure. That would take care of most of my problems over here. And then if I could, I think I got a little too much tension right here. If I could just relieve this a little bit and pull it forward, I think that would be much better. So let's make some notes, shall we? I'm going to say it's got to come over at least to my line again and pull that down a little with it. I call that 3/8 of an inch. And then to the line. Yeah, it's closer than I thought it was going to be. First try. All right, let's look at the other side, which is worse, I think. Okay, so same story here. I got to pull this way and down. Same exact thing. I got to come down about 3/8 of an inch. And 3/8. But what I'm also going to note is how far off the line I am. I'm going to say 1/4. in that way from being on the line. So when I pull that out and in, that's what I have to do. And it's probably going to have to be relieved back to here. Then up front, same story. I'm not going to be able to pull that enough. I got to pull that forward a little bit. And then it's not bad. Just got to pull that forward a little to kind of relieve this one. Boy, if I could get that in one more try, I'd be over the moon. But let us, I think I put that heater in there, forgot to turn it on. Brilliant. No, it's on. Okay, one of those heaters is a little funky. Doesn't work as good as the other one. But both combined, they're way more than I need, so let's see. Yeah, so that's what I've got to do there. I'm excited. Pull that out again. As you can tell, nothing went sideways up front though. Everything is staying pretty good up here. Everything is pretty happy. Like I said, I just want to get this a little more relief. Then I can pull some of that. Oh, yeah, that was a fun one right there, trying to get to that last screw. This was really tense right in here, so I'm going to open it up more this time to get it out. All right, I'm going to let that relax a few minutes because I think that'll help me in the long run. And before I start pulling on these flaps to glue these under, I will just localize some heat with either the steamer or the heat gun. But I'm close. That's actually better than I thought it would be the first try. So if this was in the right place, we would have been more successful for sure. All right, I'll let that heat for a while. I'll bring you back when I'm ready to modify it again. Okay, let me show you how I'm making this adjustment. I basically, I know I got to go over about a quarter, so I make a little black line a 1/4 inch over from my previous edge before I pulled all the staples out. Then I'll throw a clamp right here, staple that up real good so this doesn't want to come back on me. Now I'm going to take the heat gun and slowly heat this area up. Oddly enough, all my instructions say to pull it right back down to this nice line that they give you. So I thought I was a little off that line, but it looks like I'm right on it. So I'm going to keep going, push that down through, keep pulling that, and then work the forward edge. All right, there you go. I heated that up just a little bit in through here, not a lot, just make it pliable. Not trying to destroy anything. And then I just pulled it down to the line. And it should be good. I've already anchored this corner in real well so that I knew nothing was going to stretch there. I do have to redo my holes, however. Or at least one of them. And I will have to redo some holes up here. So anyway, let me keep going. Okay, that's not bad at all. Considering it's only my first adjustment, I'm pretty happy with that. This will pull out once I get that pulled up. That pulls right out nice. This all looks great. Pretty happy with that. I got a little wrinkle right there, but again, I think once I start to pull and adjust on that strap and that strap, that'll come out. So over here, I've got one little area right here that wants to relax a little bit. I think it'll come once that, I'll heat cycle this a couple more times and just see if I can get this out, but that's not bad either. And up here, same story, just gotta pull that tight and that all looks great, and that actually helps that one a little bit too. So, I'm gonna just continue on and see what I get. Probably might try the steamer on this too. But yeah, so far so good. That was actually not bad. That was only the first, I only adjusted it once after the initial install. So if that's good enough, it's good enough. Anyway, we're gonna go with that for now.